welcome to The Explainer. Okay, today we are diving into something that is, let's be honest, the make or break for any relationship: communication. We're going to get into the actual tools you can use to stop having the same old fights and build a connection that's, actually resilient.
All right, so let's kick things off with this really central idea. True communication, it's not just a tennis match, right, where you're just lobbing words back and forth. No, it's about creating a shared space, a space where both of you actually feel seen and heard and like you matter.
Okay, now I want you to get ready for a number that might kind of blow your mind. It comes from the legendary Gottman Institute: 69%. What is that? Well, that's the percentage of a couple's problems that are, get this, unsolvable. Yep, these are those arguments you have over and over again, the ones that come from just being different people with different values.
So, what does that number even mean? Well, it totally flips the script on what we think communication is for. The goal isn't to get rid of conflict, because you can't. The goal is to get really, really good at navigating those differences together. And honestly, mastering that is the real secret to a partnership that feels stable and genuinely happy. Okay, so if that's the goal, where do we usually mess up? Let's dive in and look at the most common roadblocks, the things that trip us up all the time. Because you can't really fix something if you don't know what you're looking at, right? So take a look at these: criticism, defensiveness, avoidance, assumptions. I mean, do any of these ring a bell? Because these aren't just, little bad habits. They're more like poison for a relationship. They lock you into this nasty cycle that it doesn't just spark fights. It's slowly, quietly eating away at the trust and connection you've built. And here's a perfect example of how a tiny little shift in your words can make a world of difference. Think about it. You never listen to me. Boom, that's an attack, and your partner is immediately going to put up their walls. But what if you say, I feel unheard right now? See the difference? That's not an accusation. It's you sharing your own feeling. It's an opening for a conversation, not a fight. All right, so we've seen the problems. Now for the good stuff, the solutions. Let's start building our communication toolkit. And these are real practical skills you can literally start using tonight to swap out those old destructive habits. First tool in the box, and it's the foundation for everything else: active listening. And look, this is way more than just not talking. It's about creating this feeling of safety. You want your partner to feel like they can say anything to you without you jumping down their throat or planning your comeback. They need to know you are 100% present with them. And a really key piece of this is just repeating back what you think you heard. Saying something like, okay, so what I'm hearing is that you felt totally overwhelmed yesterday. Is that right? It's so simple, but it does two huge things. One, it proves you are actually listening. And two, it gives them a chance to say, well, not exactly. It shows you care enough to get it right. Okay, tool number 2, the famous I statement. And the difference here is it's just massive. You make me so anxious, that's blame. It's pointing a finger. But I feel anxious when we don't talk about our plans. That's totally different. You're owning your feeling and tying it to a situation, not to who they are as a person. It basically says, hey, let's solve this thing together instead of you're the problem. Next up, we have validation. And this might just be the most powerful tool of them all for really building that deep connection. Now, here's the absolute key thing to get. Validating someone's feelings does not mean you agree with them. You could think they're totally overreacting, but you can still say, wow, I can see you're really upset about this. You're just acknowledging that their feeling is real for them in that moment. Seriously, a simple phrase like this can be a total game changer. It sends a message of empathy, of respect, and just support. It's like saying, I see you. And that can diffuse so much tension. And finally, let's talk about boundaries, because no toolkit is complete without them. A boundary can be as simple as saying, look, I really do want to figure this out, but I'm just too heated right now. Can we please take 20 minutes and come back to this? See, boundaries aren't about building walls to keep people out. They're more like guardrails on a highway. They keep the relationship safe so it can actually flourish. Okay, so we've got our tools, but how do they work in the real world when things get really intense? Let's look at a high-stakes situation where good communication isn't just a nice-to-have. It's absolutely critical. There was this really fascinating study that looked at how women try to get their male partners to seek help for their mental health. And what it found was this clear pattern of escalation. It starts small, with gentle hints, or maybe leaving a brochure on the counter, sowing seeds, as they called it. If that doesn't work, things get more direct and assertive, serious talk. And from there, it can even escalate to ultimatums, basically saying, if you don't get help, here are the consequences. It's a powerful look at how our communication has to adapt when the stakes are incredibly high. And the big takeaway here is that even when things get this tough, your guiding light, your North Star, has to be compassion. Yeah, your tactics might change. You might go from a soft hint to a really firm demand, but the message underneath it all has to be, I'm fighting for this because I care about you, because I care about us. All right, let's wrap this all up. If there's one thing you walk away with today, let it be this. Amazing communication isn't some finish line you cross. It's a practice. It's like tending a garden. It needs constant attention, consistent care, and a real commitment. So, here's your game plan. And remember, this is not about being perfect, it's just about being intentional. Step 1, just start noticing the hurdles. Catch yourself when you're being critical or defensive. Step 2, when you see it, consciously pull out one of the tools we talked about. Try an I statement or just actively listen. And step 3, make it a habit to check in with each other. Talk about the little things before they have a chance to blow up into big things. So, I'm going to leave you with a question to think about. Don't try to fix your entire relationship overnight. Just think, what is one small conversation you could have this week? Just one. One moment where you could try out one of these tools and maybe build just a slightly stronger connection. Because that, right there, that's where all the real change begins.